So if it's 25K, 10% of that would be 2,500. So it's about 18 or so percent in that 3 month or that 2.5 month period. So kind of around that 7 or 8% on average is what it looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. You compare that to the banks, it is a world of different.
Excellent. So let's
Yeah.
just start from the top, and both of you guys can answer, one of you guys can answer, another chime in, whatever. But tell me a little bit about yourselves. What's your guys' professional background?
Okay, so I'm been in nursing for over 30 years, actually 40, and I retired about 2 years ago. And I love what I did. I still do love it. And so, with that being said, we also have done real estate, like real estate investment. We have purchased properties and things like that. We Due to 2009, when the market crashed, we don't have as many, but we still are interested in buying, property that looks good, stuff like that. So I am looking to invest in a company that we can trust and we know that we are really going to make a difference in our finances. And being with your company, I'm shocked.
Yeah, so just real quick, my background is more in the accounting field. I'm not a CPA, but I was in the accounting field doing various positions with various companies. Probably the best well-known company was a company called The Strand. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's no longer in business, but it was located in Redondo Beach. It was a very well-known concert and dinner club, kind of a Vegas style dinner club in Redondo Beach called The Strand. Have you ever heard of it?
I've heard of Redondo Beach, and I love Redondo
Okay.
Beach,
Okay.
but not the Strand. No.
Yeah, it was very well known in the 80s and early 90s. I was the accountant over there, the in-house controller there for a number of years, about 10 years. But I got out of the accounting field completely. Currently, over the last 22 years, I've been I work for the government now. I work for the Transportation Security Administration, or TSA,
Uh-huh.
at LAX Airport. So been there for a number of years. Like I said, about 22 years, looking to retire probably the end of next year. I'm still
Nice.
working full time. So my wife is the one who's primarily handling, the ATN stuff while I'm doing other things and working full time. But that's
Nice.
pretty much it for now. And then she mentioned the real estate thing that we did and still looking, but it's not a buyer's market right now, as you know. So
Yeah.
that's kind of all on hold. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it becomes a buyer's market sooner than later, because I've got
Yeah.
some dry powder that I'm looking to, put into real estate, because we understand it's more than just, the returns on a yearly basis. There's the taxes, that really are helpful, and then also like generational, things as well with the appreciation down the line. So, that's something that I want to get into as well. But the benefit for me when it came to real estate has always been my primary residence. It hasn't been my rental properties just yet. So, I'm still new to it, and hoping to, kind of buy in the right area when it comes to the rental properties. I've been doing well with primary. So, but that's kind of been good on my end. So for you guys, then you guys have been, working as professionals, but then also getting into real estate and things like that. So what was your main motivation or what has been your main motivation for wanting another stream of income for yourselves?
I know one of the reasons I wanted a second income, a second string of income, is because I had my money in the 401k. And from there, it went to my traditional IRA account.
Mm-hmm.
And the most I was getting, and it was there for like 2 or 3 years because I just like, whatever. But then I was only getting maybe 0.3%. And it was nothing. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I spoke with my financial advisor at the credit union.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted me to get into the programs that he offered.
Mm-hmm.
And they were only paying maybe like 3%, 4%, 5%. I'm like, oh, 5% is good. So I did, do that. But then I ran across your commercial on Facebook and I ignored it. I'm like, oh, everybody is always one. As soon as you put, it's like that. something in the computer that what is it
the
called?
algorithm. Yeah.
It was like, oh, come on, go away.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, okay, let me check him out. Let me check him out. So I, looked at your videos. I love your mom, your family, and how you take care of your father. I'm like, wait a minute, he's different. He's different. He has a heart. He has love for his family, And then I think your parents are pastors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, he has integrity. I really like that. And so, and not only that, what the people was telling me on your video, it seems outrageous. It's like, that's not true. That's not possible. So I said, okay, there must be something wrong with this picture. And as I continue to hear you and watch the video, I'm like, hey, what I have to lose? Like Donald Trump, what do you have to lose? And so I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with, 10. And I'm like, okay. It took a while, because the system take a little while. But I was just telling my husband, just today, I said, honey, do you believe this is what we made in less than 3 months? We need to let him know this is good. He said, don't overdo it, honey. You always overdo it.
Oh, man.
Don't get all, be professional.
Oh, it's amazing. Well, and Scott,
I'm excited about that.
I'm sorry.
I can't go overboard. I just have to say, I'm so excited.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm happy that you guys are, having the results that you expected or, perhaps even a little bit better. But this is something that we wanted to make sure that we underpromise and put ourselves in position to over deliver and, have our clients be happy and appreciative of the work that's going on behind the scenes. And, it's something that we are really, really passionate about. And so for you guys, like, other than real estate, did you try anything else in other passive income streams? Was there any other ventures that you guys did in that space?
Yes. I'm with another company that's similar. Like I say, everybody popped up on my feed. I don't know if I even should say the name, but there's another company that they offer up to 9%, and that's pretty good. So I have put money with them as well. And so, and I'm satisfied with what we're getting from that. But I still have a little money left to put into your company. But we're waiting till the first of the year because we want to see how the taxes are going to, deal with the taxes situation. But I'm excited. I do have besides this one company and your company. Those are the two we're planning on working with. Everybody else is going we don't put them in a trash can.
So the other company that mentioned, 9% on a monthly basis, when did you start with them?
Oh, around actually, I think a month before I started with you guys.
Okay. And what has that monthly return been looking like on your guys' end?
So I have been with them for about 4 months. And in that 4 months, I have received about 3,000 to 4,000.
Oh, well, I meant percentage wise, because it's
not, it's like 9% a month, I guess you can say.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So does that make sense? 9 per month?
Yeah, 9% per month. Yeah, I mean, it seems like maybe you perhaps put in 10,000 there as well, or
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I put in a little more. And
okay.
Yeah, so I'm happy there as well. But I mean, if I put the same amount in what I put in their company and your company, it would be over the yin.
Right. So how did you?
I'm sorry, but that will be my goal next year. But you know how I'm trying to feel you guys. We're trying to get a feel what to expect, learn the ins and outs of the different programs or the different names, terminology like floating PL, what's floating PL, all this stuff. So I like to know what I'm getting into before I, venture into invest more money. You understand?
Yeah, of course, of course. And so how did you actually hear about us? I think you mentioned that you were on Facebook and you were scrolling and there was an ad that stood out, but like what in the ad maybe stood out to you and made you feel like, hey, I maybe want to take a little bit of time to listen to what he's saying?
What finally hit me was it was a couple of your commercial. This one lady, she mentioned it's like, what is that term she used? She said it's like, I can't even remember the term she used, but that caught my eye. It's like money is just falling. I don't know if that's a term she used, but it's the dividends or whatever you want to call it, the profit that she was making. It was like taking money, I don't even know the term.
I think maybe you're saying the one her name is Cheryl. She mentioned it's like winning the lottery.
Yeah, that's the term. Thank you. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, right. And I'm thinking, and then there was this Asian guy. He was saying, this is real. You can call me and I would talk to you if you don't believe this is real. I'm like, what? And then, okay, so those two people caught me. And then I see young people on there. I'm like, okay. And, because I'm in my 60s, I'm 66. My husband is 68, almost right there. And I'm not getting any younger. So I'm more aggressive. Most people are less aggressive. And I'm a little more aggressive in my investment, but I am a little conservative because
Yeah.
I want my husband and I both to be able to completely retire without any debts. We love to pay off our home and what have you see. So that was the key. After I heard all these different ones and I heard your video with your mother, and your wife, your support of your family. And boy, what really did it when I saw how you took care of your mother, your father, being a nurse, I have a heart for people, I just love people, especially those who are disabled, the homeless, the youth. I love them. So when I saw that, I said, this kid is real. Because
Yeah.
you don't put your business out. You know what I mean? I'm a personal person and I
Yeah.
can tell you are. So if you are genuine about your family and the love of your father, is he doing okay, your father?
Yeah, I mean, every day above ground for him is a blessing, and so, we're
Wonderful.
yeah, we just were down there like a month ago to celebrate his 75th birthday, and so we all were down there, and that was the first time in a long time because I have my brother and my sister, and then my mom. My sister lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. My mom lives about half the year in Cincinnati, Ohio. My brother lives all over the world. He's currently in Medellin now. And then I live in. We just moved to Phoenix, actually from Southern California. So we're all over the world, actually, and so that was the first time in a few years that we've been able to all be in the same spot. So we were there with him to celebrate his birthday. It was a great time. So
That's
he's definitely,
beautiful, like a family reunion. That's absolutely beautiful. So
yeah,
that's what I mean. I love your heart, and your intention is to be fair, and and that the money that can be made is legitimate. That's so important to us as Christians. We want to invest in company that is uprighteous and legitimate and is going to do what they say it's going to do. Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
And how did you? Uh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, how did you feel just before joining? Like, were you skeptical? Were you nervous at all? How did you?
Oh, of course. Are you kidding me? Because transferring money from my account to X security, there was some little hiccups in the road, and I was like, okay, I trust you, I trust you. And, you get this hiccup. No, 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 don't, no, 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 no. You're already there. You know,
Yeah.
and the thing is, I knew if I lost 25,000, I was okay with that,
Mm,
but not 100,000. So
sure.
that's why I started where I was comfortable.
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden, when I saw in 1 month, actually in 2 weeks, I'm like, what? This is not possible. I was like, well, imagine if I put 100,000. No, 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 wait till next year. Don't push it. Just wait. And
Yeah.
so I'm looking and I was like totally amazed on what I saw last night. Because I was studying this, trying to put some questions together for you. I'm like, what? I made this and this a lot. I'm like, okay, calm down. It's okay. It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. At some point, all of us have been scammed at some point in life, right? We've all experienced that. Pam and I have. I'm sure that you have. Everybody has. So if a person doesn't have a normal, healthy skepticism about anything out there that sounds too good to be true, then that person is kind of naive. You need to really do your homework. But it's hard to take that step of faith because there's so many scams out there. So it's difficult. But
what do you feel like, Scott? I know, Pamela can have her opinions and feel like, she may want to do something, and just like any relationship or any marriage, one spouse wants to do something, another spouse may not. How did you feel about the opportunity, and what actually made you feel comfortable enough to be able to decide to join the network?
Well, I mean, that's a good question.
Be honest.
No, I mean, I trust her. I trust Pam's. She's very intuitive, and she doesn't take risks easily. She, like I said, we've been scammed before, so it's not something that we just do blindly. She did her homework and she went by what she wanted to do, and I supported her. We don't put too much in. We put what we could afford to lose if it goes south. You don't put all your eggs in one basket like we did previously. We got scammed in a real estate deal from somebody that I trusted, implicitly, but that was a long time ago when I was very naive. But basically, it's my trust more in her, really, in her feel of things that I went along with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Pamela, I know that you, like Scott just mentioned, your intuition, and you kind of just picked up on me, and spending kind of my time with my family and the intention that I have there, and so that makes total sense. And how was the actual setup process? I know that you mentioned Ox Securities. There was like a little bit of a hiccup there, but how long did it actually take you to get your account set up? And then how long until you actually saw results coming through?
I would say the process was overall, it wasn't that bad at all. I have to say that Julio was very helpful. Julio is like, he's my cowboy. I call him Julio Cowboy. I'm from Texas, so everybody have to be from Texas. But he has this down home country boy attitude. David was helpful as well, but David, he's like a really business like. He's like, okay, I'm gonna get them 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me just do this. He was straight up, and he got me on. He got everything set up, so he did what he had to do. And so I love that part. Everybody was very helpful. But Julio, I will ask some dumb questions. I felt. But I didn't feel dumb. You know what I mean? He didn't make me feel like, oh, there she go, this old woman bugging me about the same thing. But no, he was so compassionate and patient with me. He answered my questions, patiently. He texted. He was very polite, So that part was great. And I noticed, I would say, should I call it dividends or a profit? I'm not sure.
Profits.
Profits, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I noticed profit. I would say, especially with the alpha, I noticed that like, oh my goodness, in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then the other ones I noticed, a little bit because some are more aggressive than the others, right? Mm-hmm. The other ones I saw, I was like, okay, that looks good, in about 3 weeks. I'm like, wow. And you lose a little, but you gain more than you lose. I'm like, wait, this is great. I'm telling you, I was so impressed, and I am excited for us all to get together, for our first ATN conference meeting at the end of the month, so I can, meet some of the people and meet you and Julio and David in person and Rose. I don't even know Rose, but I met with her for a second, and she's so sweet.
Yeah,
oh, love her personality.
Yeah. And how about ongoing communication? We do have Slack and Telegram, and we want to make sure that all of our clients are up to date. How has that been for you guys?
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's a very good question. So with the, there's a program, the other program, the regular ATN It took a while. It was some glitch because when the video would come in, it was choppy, it would start and stop,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay. And then I wait another day and watch it, So with that, I will say that, Julio does a beautiful job. I love his personality. It has nothing to do with him. I think it's maybe a glitch in the system.
Yeah,
Uh,
sometimes what happens with Loom,
oh,
yeah, it's because that's a different. We are reliant on some of the softwares, and
mm,
sometimes it will, like you mentioned, it'll be able to play, and then it'll like pause and not
mhm.
load, and some things
Right.
like that. But sometimes it only happens for a moment, and like you
Mhm,
mentioned, you come back the next day and it's able
mhm.
to load the right way. But I'm glad that overall the communication is good, and what I'll make sure of is when we do go through we kind of have like monthly tech meetings just to make sure that everything is flowing the right way. We'll make sure as well to address any of the Slack or Telegram lags, or kind of making sure that all clients are getting the information in the right way.
Yes, beautiful. And there's with the ATN, just your regular ATN program that you have, Telegram, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I can get on my phone as before I was able to see it on my laptop. So I'm
Yeah.
not able to connect on my laptop to connect with your regular Telegram as before. So I don't know if that's also something they can look into, as well. I mentioned that to Julio. He said they're working on it. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
As long as he's aware, then he'll get
yeah,
that squared away for
yeah.
you
I
guys.
bug him about everything. So we're good. He's good.
Well, the communication channels are working then.
Exactly. The
That's what
Slack
we
is good. It's not the Slack. It's like you said, the Loom. It's the Looney Tune Loom.
I love it. And so for you, if you guys don't mind, could you share a little bit more about the performance that you guys have seen in the last 90 days? You started with 10K. Is that still the balance in the account? Well, I mean, obviously not with the profit, but like, is that still the principal in the account?
Actually, I started with 10, but I added more. So I actually have 25.5 is what I
Nice.
started with, and I'm close to 30 now.
Nice.
Isn't
Okay.
that nice? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
We're happy.
So almost about 5,000 in profit
Yeah.
in about
Yes.
in about 3 months, then
Less
it's
than three, less than 3 months.
less than three
Yeah.
months. That's
Because yeah, open in June 18th, and this is September, and it's not even 18th.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
that's about two and a half to a little bit more than 2.5 months. And so then, what would that look like? So if it's 25K, 10% of that would be 2,500. So it's about 18 or so percent in that 3 month or that 2.5 month period. So kind of around that 7 or 8% on average is what it looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. You compare that to the banks, it is a world of different. My husband said, "Well, honey, when you had your money in the regular traditional, what was you getting? 3%?" I'm like, "Are you kidding? I was getting 0.03%."
Mm.
And this is amazing.
That was in a bank. We wouldn't even get $100.
No, not
Yeah.
at all. You
Yeah.
know, I'm excited to invest more money next year, but we wanted to see how this worked for us, the taxes,
Mhm.
because we don't want to be penalized.
Yeah, of
Um,
course. And that's something that, I love what Scott said as far as, just starting with the number that you guys were comfortable with. It is like, obviously, even though, there's more capacity, you guys are conservative. You guys like, you don't want to overexpose yourself. And then you said the key words, you didn't invest more than you could afford to lose. And that is perfect. You both mentioned that. You said 25K, I could, you don't want to, but you could afford to. And so that's exactly the right mentality to have, and that's what I appreciate most about our clients. They they're not the get rich overnight, or, they don't want the flash in the pan and, promise of, 15-30% months and things like that. That's just not sustainable. So I'm glad that, you guys are on the same page. And again, that's why we, make sure that we have conversations. We met before you guys actually move forward, and, made sure that we were on the same page before you made a decision. And I'm glad to kind of see to this point that you guys' decision has been validated.
Yes. And we're so grateful to you to start such a company like this and actually do what you say you're going to do. You know what I mean? And that is amazing in itself. And so, we want to thank you and your whole group, and, your brother. You guys, it's a family business, but also you have other people that are working for you that have very good integrity. And we love that about your company.
And
integrity is everything.
Yeah.
Integrity is everything. Yes.
Yeah, you only have
fine today.
Yeah, you only have one reputation, and it takes your whole life to build it up, and it takes one moment to tear it all down.
Exactly. I have told a couple of people about your company, but I'm a type of person, let me fall first if I'm going to fall.
Sure.
If I'm going to rise, then let me do it first. So I already have a couple of my nurses coworkers that are near retiring. They have like money in their 401k, and so I would definitely tell them, especially that in less than 3 months, I made this much.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
One thing that's great. And so it's not so much pressure on anybody or things like that, because sometimes referrals can kind of be weird, then, if something happens, then, now they're blaming you or things like that. So we understand how that goes. And so really the best thing that we found that makes it a lot simpler and more less friction in a sense is just you sharing our YouTube channel or you sharing our Instagram and just saying, hey, here's something that, has been working for me. Take a look at this. And, if you want to like ask me any questions, you can, but it's not like, hey, you really need to do this. This is what's, it's just, hey, here's some information. Here's some content, take a look at it, on your own time and kind of let me know if you've got any questions down the line.
Right. That's just a very good answer, because one of my coworkers, I did send her your video and we met for lunch, and she said she liked what she heard, but she wanted to, she wanted to wait next year. And I said, okay, no problem. No pressure,
Exactly.
Yeah, and so I'm going to send a couple more videos, because now that I see, like I said, what happened after less than 3 months, I'm like, look, you have to listen to this video. If you have any question, call Julio. No. Oh no, call Julio.
If you have any questions, talk to this guy. Exactly. No,
but yes, definitely. So I do have more people I want to send the video to, especially now that I can see it myself. And my coworker, a lot of them, they're like, oh well, I will show them. I will actually show them, because I'm a type of person. I'm honest. I'm down to earth. I have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, here's what I made. Here's when I put it in. Here's what I got. And it's up to you. You know what Jesus say? All we have to do is spread the word. He will grow it. So I'm going to spread the word. It's up to you guys to grow it.
Yeah, exactly. It makes total sense. And that's great. I'm so very appreciative of both of you guys. And
we did have a few questions, but I don't know if this is a good time to ask you, or should we,
well, I've got till the top of the hour. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me put my glasses on. The first question I wanted to ask is regarding I have 3 trades, and they usually update, I guess the EU and Omega, but the Alpha trade, I never get an update. I did mention it to Julio, and he said that because it's always trading, they don't update it. So I said, okay, I didn't know what that means. So is there a reason why you don't update the Alpha, when you do the updates on the regular, whenever you do the other updates?
So the reason is because most of our clients are actually in the Omega and EU elites. The Alpha and Gamma are like the higher risk ones. And so those ones, it's kind of like we do the updates for like the 90% or the 95% of the clients, and then they the results there are just like, you can log into your account and be able to see those. One thing that we've been looking into though is including those or having those like be a separate update. It's just what happens is it ends up being such it's kind of a little bit more fluid than the other ones because their strategy is different. And so it ends up being a little bit more difficult to be like, okay, this is the amount of percent that we got this week, because sometimes they'll hold those trades over the weekend, and they'll have to deal with swap fees and spreads and different things like that. That makes it a little bit more difficult to have an accurate number. And so one thing that we didn't want to necessarily do is have it be like, oh, you got 3% this week, and then it doesn't reflect that on your MyFX book, or it hasn't showed that on your account yet because there's still a couple of trades that are going to be held over the weekend. So it just becomes like a lot less straightforward. And we just were like, I think them going into their accounts and seeing what their balance is a pretty clear indication of how the account is actually doing. That's kind of where we came to it, but we are still actively, like Julio mentioned, working on a way to make it a little bit easier so that we can provide those updates weekly.
Okay, that's fair. Okay. And so the other question is, can you explain what the floating PL is? What is the floating PL?
Yeah, well, so a floating PL and some of this stuff you would be able to Google, but I mean, it's basically the profit or loss that the trader has in an open position. So it's basically it's an unrealized profit or loss, right? So if you may hear terms like a drawdown. Or things like that, where it's just like the trade hasn't actually closed yet, but it's either it's in the negative or it's in the profit. It's in a loss state or it's in a profit state. So floating just means like unrealized.
Okay, still sitting there. Okay, that makes sense.
The position has not been closed. It's not finished. The fat lady hasn't sung yet on that. But when you see realized, that means those are closed positions. Those are realized profits or losses. And if you see unrealized, then that's kind of the floating. I
understand now. That makes sense.
What does the 20% fee represent, and what exactly is it based on? How often is it? Every transaction? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that comes out weekly. So you'll see that like on every Friday after trading is done, you'll see the like fee section like update. And so that 20% is going to be coming out on a weekly basis. That's automatically deducted, and that is what Pamela mentioned. That is for the traders. That's their fee in order to constantly be profitable.
Okay. And that's based on every transaction over a period of a week.
Correct.
Okay. All right. That's what we were saying. Okay. Because you guys update every 15 minutes, but that doesn't matter. So over a period of a week, is 20%. Okay. That makes sense. One last question. Now you got to go real quick. Now are we allowed to take only 50% from the transaction per day? Like if, for example, if I want to move money from OX account into my bank, they're going to only allowed to take up to 50%, correct?
Well, that's only okay. So just in the same way where we were talking about the, unrealized versus realized, where it's like it's the realized is a closed trade, unrealized is open. If trades are still open, then you can take the 50%. But if trades are closed, you can take 100%. And so that's why we recommend waiting until the weekend, because pretty much all of our trades are going to be closed by that point. And so you would be able to take out 100% of any of the money. So let's say you have, $10,000 balance in your account. You can take the full 10,000 out because it's not trading at that moment. If some of that money was being traded in that moment, you'd be eligible to take 50% in that moment. But once it closed, then you're able to take all of it.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that alone is like a game changer.
Yeah.
Thank you. That made my day.
There you go. Do it on the weekends. Do it at Friday.
Okay.
Friday at between 3 and 5. All trades should be closed, and got what you need.
And also holidays, right?
Well, not necessarily, because it is the world. It's world currency. It's for all the currency, so they don't necessarily like stop trading on like on Labor Day in the United States. It's like China doesn't.
That's right.
They don't care nothing about Labor Day. They don't care nothing about Thanksgiving.
Well, that's so true. Thank you so much. Well,
Yeah.
I'm excited that we had this meeting with you. Thank you for answering all these questions. Thank you for your beautiful team.
All right. You both have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Aaron. Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye now.
Bye.
So every 30 days, I talk one-on-one with my clients, and that was their experience. If you want to learn more on how we help our clients earn 60% or more per year, then click the link in the description below.